There are two Koreas on one peninsula, but in 2025 they look like two futures headed in opposite directions. One driven by coercion, missiles, and nuclear posturing. The other powered by high-tech exports, cultural influence, and alliance-backed security. This is the story of North Korea's rising military profile and South Korea's rebirth as a global tech and diplomatic force, and why their divergence matters to every capital from Seoul to Washington to Beijing. Begin in the north. For more than a decade, Kim Jong Un has followed one strategy: weaponize deterrence and dramatize power. North Korea hasn't just tested missiles, it has built an identity around them. In 2025, that identity had teeth. US and South Korean intelligence warned Pyongyang could launch another nuclear test with almost no notice. Analysts tracked new launchers and heavier missile chassis, signals of a growing intercontinental strike ambition. None of this is theater. It forces neighbors and rivals to recalculate. North Korea's messaging is never subtle. Parades, launches, and portraits of Kim inspecting new systems are crafted to shape perception. At home, they communicate in vulnerability. Abroad, they urge foreign governments to assume the worst. That posture has consequences. North Korea is accelerating tests of missiles designed to punch through modern defenses. Systems intended to create credible strike capability at long ranges. The result is a security challenge that cannot be wished away by speeches or sanctions. It compels others to respond. It compels them to spend. And Pyongyang pairs its missile work with diplomacy of convenience, cultivating partners willing to trade technology, fuel, or political cover. Those ties, along with its refusal to halt weapons development, keep North Korea inside headlines and outside diplomatic solutions. Sanctions bite but don't break the strategy. The regime sees nuclear arms as the ultimate insurance policy, a guarantee of survival and prestige. That's why analysts now describe Pyongyang not just as a rogue state, but a resilient, revisionist actor. A government willing to endure hardship while building deterrence that reshapes the region. Shift the lens south, and the atmosphere changes entirely. South Korea in 2025 feels like a society restarting at full speed. After years of global uncertainty, its economic engines roar again. Semiconductor exports surge, auto shipments climb, AI services and data center demand expand quickly. Early trade numbers show a sharp rebound in exports. And in a country where trade fuels growth, that momentum matters. Seoul has leaned into this moment with strategy, not luck. Industrial policy, subsidies, and long-term investment in chips and batteries form a deliberate shield. A plan to stay competitive in a world shaped by technological rivalry. This is not just economics. It is national strategy. South Korea's cultural power continues globally. Music, TV, gaming, but the deeper shift is technological. Seoul is becoming a cornerstone of the global semiconductor chain, a central node for AI hardware and advanced manufacturing. And in a world where chips are geopolitical leverage, that position gives Seoul influence. Government aid packages, tax breaks, and delicate negotiations with trading partners all reflect this ambition. Security, of course, anchors the whole story. The US-ROC alliance has tightened visibly. Joint exercises grow more sophisticated. River crossing drills, missile defense coordination, trilateral training with Japan. These moves provoke Pyongyang, but that's the point. They signal that aggression would be costly, and that alliance cohesion is real. And the effects reach far beyond the peninsula. A nuclear-armed North Korea pressures neighbors to invest in defense. It complicates relations with Beijing and Moscow. It pushes Japan to rethink security doctrine. It pulls Washington deeper into forward deterrence and logistics planning. Meanwhile, a high-performing South Korea stabilizes global tech markets. It gives partners an alternative to China in advanced manufacturing. Its choices ripple outward just as powerfully as Pyongyang's. Yet, these two futures influence each other. Every provocation from the North strengthens the South's resolve to harden economically and militarily. Every success in Seoul's tech sector gives it more capacity to fund defense and resilience. Diplomatic outreach from Seoul to Washington, Tokyo, and Beijing reshapes the strategic landscape. This is a feedback system. Threat begets capability. Capability begets deterrence. Deterrence shapes diplomacy. Behind all this are human stories. In the North, citizens live under scarcity, state control, and the spectacle of military strength. In the South, engineers, producers, and workers ride the wave of export demand and technological ambition. These lives give the strategy human weight. But neither future is guaranteed. Pyongyang's build-up strains its limited resources and deepens isolation risks. Seoul's boom depends on global demand and stable supply chains. Protectionism, market shocks, or diplomatic missteps could shift the balance quickly. The future depends on three forces: deterrence and diplomacy, economic strategy, and the Beijing-Washington-Seoul triangle. China can pressure Pyongyang or protect it. It can complicate Seoul's choices or open diplomatic space. Its role shapes whether the region drifts toward containment or escalation. Watch the scenarios. A new nuclear test could trigger global backlash and sharpen military posture across Northeast Asia. Or Seoul's tech renaissance could strengthen its diplomatic reach, giving it leverage in humanitarian or energy discussions. Middle paths remain possible: confidence-building steps, limited dialogues, small de-escalations. There are no heroes or villains here. Only actors following incentives. Pyongyang sees nuclear weapons as insurance. Seoul sees innovation as power. Washington seeks stability. Beijing seeks influence. Tokyo seeks security. The peninsula is where these ambitions collide. But there is room for hope. If Seoul and its partners link technology, prosperity, and security, the likely outcome is managed tension rather than catastrophe. If Pyongyang calculates that coercion costs more than it gains, behavior may shift over time. Slowly, cautiously, but possibly. In geopolitics, the Korean peninsula remains one of the world's most consequential stages. The North forces the world to confront destabilizing capability. The South gives it a model of innovation and resilience. Which future shapes Asia will depend on strategy, timing, and political will. If this breakdown helped you see the bigger picture, subscribe for more deep dives and share your thoughts below on which path seems most likely: containment, coexistence, or crisis.